Morning, everyone. I think one of the best things about Life Cycle is that it brings together a group of people who are really passionate about creating great experiences for their customers. So I wanted to kick things off by telling you about a bit of research that me and my team have been working on. And it's all about the factors that make customer experiences great. But to frame the findings, I want to flip to the other end of the spectrum and talk about really bad customer experiences. Because I think we're all quite acutely aware of how it feels to be on the receiving end of a bad customer experience. It's like when you spend hours searching for the perfect item online and it shows up in the wrong size. Or when you don't quite get the in-store experience you were hoping for, like Ollie here. Oh, poor Oliver. Or when a delivery spectacularly misses the mark. But in all seriousness, it's really easy to pinpoint the factors that make shopping with a brand a complete nightmare. It's infinitely harder to articulate exactly what it is about your favorite brands that makes you love them so much. Because brilliant experiences are kind of fuzzy and intangible. They're this kind of warm, fuzzy feeling, or they're just this sense that a brand really gets you and what you're about. Like the fact that Glossier fans are willing to queue for hours around a block just to hang out in a pop-up shop when they can buy all this stuff online anyway. Or the fact that Supreme has such a loyal following that when they took out a front-page ad on the New York Post, people were willing to pay 10 times the normal amount to get their hands on a copy. What is it about Glossier and Supreme that make people love them so much and come back and shop with them again and again? Now, don't get me wrong, I think buzz and a bit of luck and some really clever branding are definitely playing a part here. But we know that there's more to a great customer experience than that. So that was the focus of our research, to go to customers and ask how they want to be communicated with. We spoke to 4,000 shoppers across the UK and the US. I'm going to go through 3 of the big takeaways from the report right now, but the full report, you can pick up your copy at the Ometria stand. It's full of some really great insights. So takeaway 1, the first thing that the census revealed was that maybe great customer experiences are about messaging customers less. When we asked consumers what their biggest annoyance was with the brands that email them, too many emails completely stole the show, with 74% of consumers saying that it annoyed them. But annoyance wasn't the only emotion associated with brands' marketing techniques. 70% of consumers said that they regularly feel overwhelmed when they open their inbox by messages from retailers, and 15% of those on a daily basis. Perhaps most worryingly, though, is the impact on young people. Nearly half of 16 to 24-year-olds said that this overwhelm spilled into the rest of their lives, affecting their overall happiness levels and sense of well-being. Now, I know it's all very well me standing here saying, send fewer marketing messages, but you guys have got revenue targets to hit. And what I'm really excited about today is that we're going to be hearing from some innovative brands who are really creating amazing customer experiences that don't revolve around sending more and more marketing messages. The second big takeaway is to make the marketing messages you do send count. One interesting, if not slightly depressing, stat that came out of the census was that consumers would rather receive no marketing from you at all than frequent unpersonalized messages. And occasional relevant messages came top, but only just, which to me says that brands need to work really hard to deliver value to consumers. When it comes to making consumers feel valued, some tips and techniques came out. The most popular were offering promos and perks to recognize loyalty that weren't offered to everyone else. Personalised product recommendations were really popular amongst consumers, and also feedback requests on the customer experience and sending relevant content post-purchase that wasn't necessarily sales-based but helpful, like aftercare instructions. So in a nutshell, I think it's all about relevance and personalisation, and what you'll hear today is about how a lot of brands are achieving this using technology. The final takeaway is that there's a greater acceptance of artificial intelligence, but with some conditions attached. Perhaps one of the weirdest things to come out of the consumer census was this conundrum. On the one hand, 61% of consumers are wary about how organisations are using their data compared to this time last year, which does kind of figure given shows like The Great Hack and the fact that companies are having to be more transparent when they experience data breaches. So we've got wariness on the one hand. But on the other, consumers seem to be accepting the use of AI more, with 68% saying that they're not uncomfortable with the use of AI, and that's up from 62% last year. Perhaps unsurprisingly, young people were more likely to report feeling very comfortable with AI. But more curiously, men were almost twice as likely to be very comfortable with AI than women. So it seems like we've got these two things going on. People are becoming more used to AI, but at the same time, they're more wary about how it's used. And I think that the thing that bridges the gap between these two things is transparency. And that plays out in the stats. Half of shoppers are more likely to shop with a brand that gives them control over how their data is used. So, what are the underlying themes that great customer experiences have in common? We've talked about 3 today: sending fewer marketing messages, how personalization makes customers feel more valued, and how maybe we're all becoming a little bit more accustomed to how AI is used. And what I'm really excited about is all the retailers today who'll be coming on stage and bringing a lot of these quite conceptual things to life. Like I said, we've got a bunch more insights in the consumer census, so do come and visit us at the stand and get yourself a copy. And have a great day. Thank you.